Welcome everybody. My name is Tyler Pipes with Smoky Mountain Knife Works, and I'd like to welcome you all to meet the Gunny, Arlie Ermy, here for our first interview for the SOG True Spec Gunny Weekend event. Got a few questions for you. I know it's your first time coming to Smoky Mountain Knife Works. What's your first impression so far?
I was totally amazed. I classified this from the outside. I just looked at it and said, whoa, this is definitely the Bass Pro Shop version of a knife shop, because man, this is like going through a museum. You know as well as I do, from the front door walking back to your office, I bought 2 knives.
Oh yes, sir.
I mean, come on. But this place is phenomenal, and I understand that this is the world's largest knife shop.
Yes, sir. It's over 108,000 square feet.
And there's a museum upstairs.
Yes,
I
sir.
went through the museum. I seen the young Marines, went through the museum. And you know what? I would kill for some of those knives in that museum, man. I would dance. I would do anything you wanted. Man, there's some knives up. I actually have a knife that you don't. So.
Oh, really? Which knife is
it's
that?
The 1850 to 1890 Staff NCO sword, Marine Corps.
Oh, man.
Remember I pointed that out?
Yes, sir, you did.
Yeah, and I have one. It took me 10 years to find it. I advertised over the internet. I'm looking for this. I had maybe 6 or 8 replicas that came about that people thought were real, but they are not real, and I can pretty much spot them clear across the room.
Yeah.
And I finally found one. The scabbard's all beat up, and it's a little bit beat up, but it is indeed the 1850 to 1880 Marine Staff NCO sword. And there's very few, because there were only like maybe 200 or 300 Staff NCOs in the Marine Corps back in that time.
Oh, especially at that time. That's right in the Civil War era.
So they just didn't manufacture that many knives or that many swords for the Staff NCOs. Anyway, what a phenomenal establishment you have here. I'm like a kid in a candy store.
Exactly.
I could walk around here all day and just be entertained.
Oh yeah, well I'm lucky. I get paid to work here, so it's awesome. It's awesome.
You are very lucky, very fortunate, absolutely.
Yes, sir. I count my lucky stars every day.
Let me see your hands, fingers. Look at there. You have all your fingers. You have everything. No
well, some
big
of them are
gashes.
cut in half.
I don't see any Band-Aids. You've learned.
Day's not over yet.
No, the day's not finished. But if I was around this many knives, I'd probably have nicks and gashes all over my doggone self.
Cut this finger in half.
And these knives are, every one of them up there, just razor sharp.
Oh, yes, sir. Well, no point in carrying a dull knife.
More people get hurt with dull knives than sharp ones.
That's true.
I heard that.
Yes, sir. That's actually very true.
Absolutely. Now, you had some questions you wanted to ask me, Tyler.
Yes, sir. I guess to start off with, how did you first get into knives? Or how were you first into
I was a country boy in Kansas. I grew up in a farm in Kansas, and I always had a folder in my pocket. And it's kind of like, that's a dumb question, actually, Tyler. It's kind of like saying, "How'd you
good old country boy? What else do you need to know?
How'd you get into BB guns? I mean, come on, I had a Daisy at an early age.
Hey, I watched A Christmas Story. I mean, I want a Red Ryder BB gun with a compass and stock.
You know it. So, a farm boy in Kansas, from day one, you have a knife.
Yeah.
You just carry a knife. It's something that you always have with you, and there's always a rabbit to skin. We trapped with old box traps. Remember the old box traps? The animal, a big box tunnel, and the animal would walk in and bump the little thing, and it would come up, and the door would slide shut on him.
Yeah, I used to catch raccoons with those.
Raccoons, skunks, rabbits, minks.
Yeah, we didn't have any minks around East Tennessee.
The occasional feral cat.
Yeah.
but we used to trap all the time. And when you trap, you need to eat the animal.
Oh, yes, sir.
That's why you want to trap, and you have to skin it out before you eat it. I mean, without knives, could you imagine? How would we eat meat? You would just...
That'd be caveman.
Yeah, I guess you just put them over the fire and singe all the hair off first.
Hey, sometimes if my wife would let me, I'd do that again.
Yeah. But I like good meat cooked over the campfire.
Oh, yes, sir.
It always tastes better, don't it?
You know what? Why is that? I guess it's just the wood, or maybe it's the ambiance that it brings it back to you.
It's the ambiance. It's the 3 or 4 really good buddies out hunting.
Oh yeah.
Gathered around the campfire and eating a piece of meat that you just shot.
Yep.
One of you just shot. it's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Yes, sir, it
Yes.
is. Yes, sir, it is. And it's a very unique feeling, and it's something that you can't really describe.
It is true, very true.
Do you have an everyday carry knife?
Well, you know what? I did.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a little SOG knife.
Mm-hmm.
And I went through so many of those little SOG knives because I get on the airplane. How many times a week do I fly?
Oh, I bet a
And
lot.
what happens is the little knife is just so tiny, so small,
Mm-hmm.
you forget it's even in your pocket.
Oh, yeah.
And the next thing you know, some big guy there with Homeland
gloves.
Security is telling you to drop that in the box right there, or you can mail it home. Well, only costs $30, and I'm not going to go to the trouble of mailing it home and then miss my airplane.
Yeah, because you got to get back in the line again.
And back in line. So anyway, it always goes in the box. And I was carrying a small SOG, just a beautiful little knife. And you need it to clean your fingernails, you trim your fingernails. You always got that Irish pennant hanging off your shirt that if you pull it, you unravel the whole damn
Exactly.
shirt. And if you cut it, it'll be just fine. But there's a million uses for a knife. You should always have a knife in your pocket. But I've gotten to the point where I don't carry a knife anymore when I travel.
Yeah.
Now, as far as I still have the little SOG that just hooks on my belt, and I have that, and I carry a combination tool. The combination tool to me is better than any, because if I need a pair of pliers, I've got it.
Exactly.
If I need a file, I have it. If I need a saw, I've got that. I can just pop it open. So I've gotten to the point where I carry a small SOG knife, but I always have my SOG combination tool on my hip.
Well, fantastic. Let me ask you this. So what would be your overall favorite weapon then? Switch gears a little bit.
If I was in the jungle and I was in a survival mode, lost in the jungle, if my airplane went down or some way or another, I got stranded out in the middle of the jungle, I would think maybe a kukri. A large, the medium-sized kukri.
Okay.
Not the big one, not the little small one, but the medium-sized kukri. They're sharp enough. You can skin an animal. You can kill an animal. I can set snares, so there's no question I would have meat.
Oh, yeah.
But I just don't want to have to eat it with my ripped hide
Yeah,
and fur and
exactly.
everything off with my teeth. But a little string and a kukri would
So just
do
like some
me.
paracord?
Paracord, yeah. I'll wear a paracord bracelet.
Okay.
And when you open that bracelet up, it's like unbraid it. It's like 15 feet of paracord.
Yeah.
Which is I recommend that anytime you go in deer hunting or elk hunting or up in the woods, I recommend you have that little paracord bracelet because it's a real simple little thing to put around your wrist. You don't even know it's there.
Exactly.
But you always, if you're in a survival situation, you always need rope or string. And that would be that paracord. You need rope or a string, and you need a sharp object, which would be a knife.
Exactly.
Plain and simple.
Fantastic.
Machetes. I love machetes.
Machetes.
Yeah. But they would have to be come to a sharp point. So when the bear comes after you,
You
you
can
can have
stick it.
something that'll stab. A lot of the machetes have a blunt end. And what are you going to do, beat them to death? But I like a machete that comes to a sharp point and a thick blade. Not one of
blade.
these little flexible saw
Flimsy,
blade type flimsy stuff. I'd break it right off the bat.
Have you broken many machetes?
I have indeed.
What's the craziest thing you've ever done while breaking a machete?
Well, I actually did stab myself in the leg one time with a knife, but not a machete, but with a knife. I was carving a piece of wood, and I was trying to get it all fixed up, and I wanted to cut it here. And I laid it down on my leg and stabbed. Of course, I was young, so I was an idiot,
Yeah.
But that's a long time ago, and I try to forget about that.
Yeah. Well, I think everyone who's dealt with knives for as long as we have, you've cut yourself at one point and another.
We learn from what we do, right? what was it? We were down at the NRA down in New Mexico. We were having a shooting contest. It's a pistol shooting contest, and it goes on every year down in New Mexico. And my SOG representative, or excuse me, my Glock representative was hanging out with me, and NRA representative, and we went over to visit the SOG booth, and the gal gave him a knife, a SOG knife. He went outside and promptly cut himself. he had to get 6 stitches.
Oh man!
And you know, that's something we do, and we learn from it, and hopefully we learn from it.
Hopefully.
But I considered it, and when I found out about it, I thought that was a failed attempted suicide. That's the way I classified it.
Well, that leads into my next question. You know, you've mentioned SOG knives a couple of times. I know you're a spokesman for them. What led you to SOG? You know, why SOG knives?
I was in a pawn shop, and I saw a SOG combination tool in the glass counter, and I asked if I could see it. And I'd had several other combination tools from widely known manufacturers that had basically fallen apart in my hand. You know, a year. I live on a farm, so I'm always fixing fence, cutting wire, doing all kinds of stuff. But this, I got this tool used for $10. 8 years later, this tool's still going strong. So
wow.
Spencer Frazier was the owner of SOG at that time, and I wrote him a nice letter saying, "What a great tool! It's about time, made in USA. It's about time somebody took a little pride in this country again, and got us back on track. Took a little pride and built a good product, a great product. Thank you for that." Next thing I know, I'm getting correspondence back saying, "How about if you come on board and hang out with us a little bit, you know?" And I went fishing a couple of times with Spencer, and next thing you know, I'm the spokesperson. So I don't know how this comes about, but it seems to work out okay. And I'm one of these guys that I want to, if I find something that's good, and I think, boy, primo, this is quality, this is really something that I would like to carry. I will carry it, and I can't wait to tell my friends. So that I can pass the word. Hey, you tired of that crap falling apart in your hands? Well, get one of these, and I'll guarantee it won't fall apart in your hands. It's really durable, really great, you know. You don't have to sharpen it 10 times while you're skinning a deer, while the blowflies are crawling all over the meat and laying eggs, and what those little bees. It's just, you're sitting there, you want to skin, you sharpen your knife one time, you want to skin that deer quickly, get it back in the bag.
Exactly.
And so those flies don't get all over it, you know. Well, these knives that you have to stop and sharpen 4 or 5 times, every time you turn around, you have to sharpen your knife. Those are the ones that I avoid. And if I find a knife that's really a good knife that I can go through an entire deer with and not have to sharpen, I want my friends to know about it. But that's always the way I've been.
Well, speaking of quality products, I know that recently you've become the spokesman for TruSpec. You know, how did you get hooked up with them?
That's another story. You know, it's men wear boots. I like cargo pants. Well, I couldn't find a pair of cargo pants, or I couldn't find any dungarees. We'll call them cargo dungarees, okay? Because Marine Corps, we don't pants, or sailors and
yes, sir.
And ladies wear pants. But so I couldn't find a pair that wasn't pegged. They're all pegged, every doggone one of them. And I say, men wear boots. Why don't we have a boot cut cargo pants so the doggone things will fall over your boots and look decent rather than bunching up and wadding up around your ankles? It looks terrible. Us guys, contrary to popular belief, do care about our appearance, you know, especially if we've been in the military. The military is spit and polish. I mean, they teach you to be squared away. You don't automatically, after 20 years in the Marine Corps, 30 years in the Marine Corps, come out and be a civilian now and turn into an immediate slob.
Yeah.
You know, you just don't, that doesn't work. So anyway, I went around and I talked to several different companies that make cargo pants, trousers, but dungarees.
Dungarees.
I just can't call them pants. It bothers me. But I went around to several different manufacturers, and nobody would help me out. They would profess, "Oh, sure, no problem, Gunny. We'll take care of you. We'll make this nice pair of cargo utilities, and we'll make those really nice for you." A year later, I come back and say, "Well, what happened? You were going to make some cargoes." Well, we sold out. We have new ownership now, so this and that. Finally, I hooked up with TrueSpec. I came to TrueSpec. I like their clothing anyway.
Yeah.
Their product has been a great product. And so I came to TrueSpec, and I talked to Daryl, and I said, "Hey, you don't suppose you guys could make a cargo that actually has straight legs or boot cut, do you? Because us guys wear boot cut." And he said, "Sure." And a couple of months later, he reached out to me and asked for some advice. We wanted to get together and design this pair of cargos. And next thing you know, they're sending their guy up from San Francisco to have a chat with me and design this pack and cargos and all kinds of shirts and stuff. And we finally got it done. Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah.
And you can't build a pair of cargos in a day either.
No.
Took a year, over a year
I heard
before,
a year and a half.
from the prototype onto, maybe a year and a half. But anyway, we have them on the market now. And they're nice fitting. They're smart fitting. They don't bunch up around your doggone ankles.
Yeah.
And you still have all the pockets. Us guys require a lot of pockets. You know
heck
that,
yeah.
right?
All your knives and everything.
Yeah, we carry a lot of junk, you know.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be having to carry a purse. I'm not a purse kind of guy. Excuse me, you know. So anyway, we've got the cargos on the market. We've got the Gunny line is what we've come up with. We even have a Gunny travel pack. I carry a backpack when I travel. I can put 6 days worth of junk right there, clothing and socks and underwear and everything into that pack. And we call it the Gunny travel pack. So that's on the market now. But TrueSpec and I see eye to eye. Men wear our stuff. We should make stuff for men. And we make women's stuff too, but it's designed for women.
Yes.
See, it's not one person just designing, just throw it all in the same in the same category, you know, because men and women have different likes and dislikes. And women, you probably have noticed that, but women have curves in different spots than men have, you know, so we don't really have curves, us guys, you know, but the ladies do. So you have to build a special product for them, right? Which is a good thing. Kind of enhance those curves. That's what makes us guys, you know, kind of, you see a pretty girl walk by, my wife, Mrs. Gunny, will hit me upside the head. "Oh, excuse me, I'm just admiring her cargos."
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
What cargo were you looking at? Anyway, next question. Let's move on because I'm getting in trouble here.
Oh, no, you're fine. Well, let's change the subject then. You've done a lot of acting through the years. You know, which role was your favorite?
I've done 75 feature films.
Wow.
I've done all the Simpsons and almost every one of the real popular television shows I've done, and it's kind of a tough question. I'm thinking, what did I have most fun with?
Yeah. Which
that
did
would
you
be
film?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Really?
Yeah, I rewrote the script. They sent it to me the third time. They told me if you don't like the script, it's okay if you rewrite it. So I said, okay, then I'll just do it, you know. And I rewrote the script, and turned out really good. The last two Texas Chainsaw Massacres.
Wow.
Those were the most fun. Difference between Texas Chainsaw, I've done so many shows, but most shows they'll have blood, stage gore.
Yeah.
You know, they call it blood, stage gore, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's in gallon jugs. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, we had it in 55-gallon jugs.
Oh, man.
So that was fun. That was a great show.
Wow, that does sound like fun.
And I played the role of Sheriff Hoyt,
Sheriff Hoyt.
who was a pretty flamboyant, colorful character.
I can imagine. I can imagine you put your spin on that very well.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I wrote it, you know, so it
Oh,
always
well,
worked
there
better.
you go.
I wrote everything I said in Full Metal Jacket as well. So
Yeah, I heard that that how that got started was you were advising the guy who was supposed to be playing the part, then you were actually doing better than he was.
yeah, well, you got bad information like everybody else, but I accepted the role of technical advice so that I could just get my foot in the door to get the role.
Okay.
And the Marine Corps has never taught anybody to fail. So
Correct.
I didn't go over there to fail. I went over to succeed, and I was able to work it out where I was able to succeed. It happened.
Well, good. Well, going back to what you're saying about stage gore and everything, you know, there's been a lot of talk in the gun and knife industry about zombies. You know, there seems like there's this craze over like a zombie apocalypse and stuff. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, or if you are. You know, what's your take on this whole zombie thing?
Well, you're right. You're absolutely right. I'm not familiar with it. Zombies? I'm not sure about that.
The
I know
idea
what
of,
a
like-
zombie is. I mean, they're the ones that walk around like this, and they come up out of the grave.
Yeah.
I'm not real educated on it.
Not really educated.
So
Well,
I can't. I better not answer that question.
Okay, fair enough.
I might insult a zombie.
Oh,
you know, I have
man.
insulted so many people over my life, and every time I do it, I get slammed for it, and media goes crazy, and I say kind of crazy things about some politicians and some other actors and some public figures, and I get a little bit carried away. Well, actually, I don't get carried away. I call the shots the way I see it.
Yeah.
And that's the way it is with me. But I'm not one thing I can never be accused of, and that is being politically correct.
Correct.
Yeah, because that's not in me. It just doesn't work for me.
Well, as long as you're being honest, you know.
So let's get off this zombie
Okay.
thing here.
All right. Well, let's switch gears completely. Let's say if you were stranded on a desert island, you can only have 3 things. What would they be?
Well, I think I mentioned earlier, if I was out in the jungle and plane crash or whatever, one would be a kukri. Okay, I would want that middle-sized kukri. And you can always sharpen it. You know, I'd always find a stone somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, I'll find a means with which to sharpen it. But the second item, I guess, well, we were talking about string. That's one of the most important things. Because if you have string, you can fish. You know,
Yeah.
you can do a lot of things with
Oh, yeah.
string. Or you can trap, or you can catch animals.
Yeah, but use it to make fire.
Number 3 would have to be, if there were dangerous animals around, it would be a gun. I would have to have a gun. And as far as fire goes, I can start a fire. You put me out in the woods, and I have a piece of raw meat there that looks really enticing, a good sized steak off of some deer. I'll figure out a way to start a fire.
I bet you could probably yell at the sticks and make them light on fire.
I don't know, but I bet I could rub them together and make a fire.
All right. Well, last question. If you could meet one person, past or present, who would it be?
Probably Chesty Puller.
Really?
Yeah. Chesty Puller, Smedley D. Butler, John Basilone, any one of the 3.
Yeah.
But they're
Old Marines from World War
Marine
II.
Corps heroes. Yeah,
Yeah.
Marine Corps heroes. They're just they're icons. They're icons, and they're my heroes. So I imagine that would be it.
Well, I believe that was all the questions I had. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate you coming down here, and appreciate you, participating in the little question and answer session that I had.
My pleasure, absolutely. I look forward to getting back.
Oh, yes, sir.
Now that I've discovered this little gold mine, this is.
Well, it's a horse of a different color.
There's not a knife that you don't have here.
No, actually, our motto is if it cuts, we carry it.
Yeah, and you have a lot of custom knives even.
Yes, sir.
These old boys in their back, in their little garage back in the backyard, and they've got their heat treating situation going and pounding and that stuff. You know, these are not just knives. A lot of those backyard little knife shops, those guys take tremendous pride in their product.
And love.
They really build a great product.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not just a knife, it's a work of art in a lot of cases. You know, they really love what they do, and it's an art. And I can't go to a knife show without coming home a couple of $1,000 in the hole, you know, because I might get paid to go to the gun show, knife and gun show, but I spend every damn penny that I make there. I spend there, you know, so that's the way it works. The wife is always after me. She's about, don't you have enough knives right now? No, a guy can never have too many knives.
No, heck no.
It's kind of like too much money or too much fun.
Fun.
Yeah, that's right. But thanks for having me over. Anybody who hasn't been to the Smoky Mountain Knife Works, certainly I would recommend it, and I think they need to get here, especially to see that museum.
Oh, yes, sir, the National Knife Museum.
It's phenomenal.
Yes, sir.
There's stuff up there that I would kill to own.
Oh, yeah.
Just beautiful stuff.
Yeah, lots of custom pieces. I would like to get that sword you were talking about, the Marine Corps Staff Sergeant sword. That would actually, maybe even a picture would suffice.
Yeah, I'll take a picture of it. I'd take a couple of pictures, close-ups of the hilt and so on and so forth, and send it to you. Let's see what it looks like.
Yeah, 'cause that's
but you need to get one up there, because I notice you have a lot of military swords up there, but I don't see a Marine Corps Staff NCO sword.
Well, that's true. That's true. Well, if it took you 10 years to find yours, we might see if we can't do better.
It took me 10 years and a lot of gun and knife shows.
Wow.
A lot of them.
Wow.
Anyway, Semper Fi.
Thank you, sir.
All the best, Tyler.
All right.
Hoorah.
Thank you. Hoorah.